Hi, I'm Kristen. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're ready to learn how to make a delicious dessert, then just keep on watching. And don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. Hi. Okay, so we are making a chocolate Swiss roll cake. And to start off with, I am spraying down a 12 by 17 pan and then lining that with parchment paper. We want a very, very non-stick surface. We don't want the paper to stick to the pan, and we don't want the paper to stick to the cake. So we're spraying both the pan and the parchment paper. Okay, and then starting off with, we're going to separate 4 eggs. Just separating the whites into a bowl that I'm going to beat together with sugar, the eggs and the sugar, like so. And you're going to see me switching to a different bowl. I just wasn't feeling this one, so I had to switch to just a different bowl. It's just some weird thing I did. I'm keeping the yolks in a separate bowl because those are going to be included a little later on in the recipe. And this is what your egg whites and sugar, just granulated sugar, should look like after beating on medium speed for 5 minutes. You want stiff peaks. Okay, now putting those aside, and we're moving on to the egg yolks. So we have 4 egg yolks, and then we're putting in a 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Here's my spoons, there they are. I wouldn't really, if I were not doing this for a video, I would just put in some vanilla. I don't think you really need to measure vanilla because it's such a great flavor. I like it. I would just put a nice splash in there. But anyway, okay, you can do this also with, if you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, you can do that, or just any stand mixer. But I'm just going to use my hand mixer for this. And then you're going to beat together the eggs, the brown sugar, and the vanilla until it looks pale and creamy like that. It reminds me of Dijon mustard, actually, is what the color you should end up with. Okay, so now moving on to the dry ingredients. I'm sifting together a half a cup of flour, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon baking powder. Okay, and then I'm putting in some instant coffee, 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. That just brings out the chocolatey flavor. It just kind of amps it up a little bit. You don't taste coffee in it. It just deepens the flavor of the chocolate. So let's see. Where am I here? Yeah. Okay, so now we're mixing in the wet with the dry. And oh, it was 1 tablespoon of strong brewed coffee or 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. That's where I got a little mixed up there. I added in 1 tablespoon of instant coffee, prepared instant coffee. Okay, and then I mixed all those together, and now we're folding in the egg white sugar mixture. And we're folding it in very carefully because we don't want to deflate those egg whites that we just beat for 5 minutes, okay? You want to just carefully do it and not take out all the air that you've put in there. Okay, so now it's time for the batter to go in the oven. So we're gonna fill up our 12 by 17 pan here that we've put the parchment paper down. If this batter is gonna be really thin in the pan, just for a heads up, You're like, how is this going to work? But remember, we're rolling it up. So it needs to be evenly spread in the pan. Shimmy it around a bit, shake it, even it out with your spatula. You just want it as even as possible. It's hard to do this to see exactly how, you know, even it is in the pan, but just eyeball it as best you can. That's all you can do. Okay, and then this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for 10 minutes. This is very important. Only cook it for 10 minutes. You don't want to bake it anymore because you don't want to dry it out and it won't work as well. So then spread yourself out a thin kitchen towel or parchment paper on the countertop, and then take 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder and lightly dust it over the towel. This will keep your cake from sticking to it because it's going to come right out of the hot oven onto the towel, like here. Just invert it onto the towel like that, and then carefully peel back the parchment paper. Very good. This is how it should look so far. And then just roll the cake up in the towel or the parchment paper. And then you're going to want to stick it in the fridge for about 2 hours so it can set in that roll shape. And then after the 2 hours is up, take your cake out of the fridge and then prepare your heavy whipping cream filling. So we have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar, or you can use granulated sugar if you prefer, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then you're going to want to beat this for a couple minutes until stiff peaks form like whipping cream. 3, 2, 1. There you go. Look at that. I love whipped cream. Okay, and this is going to be your filling. So then we're going to take our rolled cake and then carefully unroll it from the towel. And hopefully it's going to turn out awesome and not break, but unfortunately, as you're going to see here in a second, yep, mine did break like that. Oh, so disappointing. If it doesn't break, then you'll have a nice swirl when you cut into it, but as you're going to see, mine doesn't have that because I have a broken cake. But it's still awesome. It still turned out really good. It's a favorite of my kids, and my husband's not a big chocolate fan, but the kids and I will eat this right up. It's really good. And then you just spread on your heavy cream, your whipping cream filling like that, and leave 1/2 inch border just so it doesn't ooze out and get all messy. I didn't quite use all of the whipping cream because, you know, I didn't want it to get too overfilled. I probably could have used a little bit more, but it's fine. It's all good. And then you're going to roll it back up. I'm starting with the broken side first so that maybe it kind of will keep it together better because part of it is broken. And then I put it on the baking sheet that I baked the cake on. I just left it out. And then you put a cooling rack, and then you put your cake on top of that. And then you get your semi-sweet chocolate, a 4-ounce bar. And then you're going to want to chop it up into chunks, put it into a bowl. And then while this is happening, by the way, I have 1/2 cup of whipping cream on the stovetop to heat up because that's what's going to melt the chocolate. And you only want to heat up your cream till it's just short of boiling. You don't want to boil it because then it'll cause it to break. So just pour your heated up cream over the chocolate and stir and stir and stir. And that should melt the chocolate all the way. I did have to put it in the microwave for like 15 seconds and just to finish melting it the rest of the way. But this is how it turned out. It turned out really good, the ganache. And optionally, you can also add 1 teaspoon of light Karo syrup. I'm showing you right here. And that will add a glossiness to the ganache. I'm glad I did that part. Don't have to, but it just adds an extra level of glossiness. So now I'm just going to cover up my cake. Use my spatula to smooth it over as best I can. And the excess ganache will just drip down into the pan there and keep it a little bit neater. And then after that, you're going to chill it in the fridge for like an hour to set the chocolate. And then it'll be ready to slice and serve. And it turned out really awesome. I wish the inside of it was more of a swirl, but mine didn't turn out that way because the end of it broke off. So it, but it's still really good. It's one of my kids' favorites. Look, it's good. Just not quite as pretty in the middle as I'd like, but it's all right. It's still good. So if you really like this content, please give me a subscribe and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.